Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Mike with Apple Informed, and today I have something different. So for one whole day, I ditched my iPhone XS Max and used only an iPhone 8 Plus for one day. And these are my experiences and just things that I noticed after going back to a phone that has a home button, Touch ID, a 16:9 display, after using my iPhone 10 and then my iPhone XS Max. I wanted to use this for just one day and see what the experience was like. So in this video, let's go ahead and talk about some things that I noticed, some things I liked, and some things that I didn't like about using the iPhone 8 Plus after I've been using a screen with a notch and no bezel for over a year now. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So the first thing I noticed is Touch ID on the iPhone 8 Plus was a dream to go back to. I know that Face ID is more convenient in certain tasks, and we'll talk about that a bit later, but Touch ID is just so much more convenient. You can see here, you can unlock your phone with just a single tap. Like if I want to just tap the home button like that, it unlocks. That doesn't happen on the iPhone 10. And I know that Apple says you don't really have to forcibly look at your phone, but sometimes I feel like I have to. I have attention turned on, so my eyes actually have to be looking at the phone to unlock the phone with Face ID. I do that for security purposes, and I really do feel like I have to actually take my attention and actually look at the phone, instead of just it unlocking super easy sometimes. So sometimes Face ID is really convenient, but Touch ID, in my opinion, is tried and true. It is just the king of biometric security on phones, and I really wish that Apple can figure out a way to get fingerprint scanning underneath the screen on the iPhone 10. So in my opinion, pretty much the only way Face ID is better than Touch ID, like I said, is in autofill for passwords. So whenever Safari or a different app asks for your password, the iPhone XS will just go ahead and authenticate your face. You don't have to do anything with your hands. You can just keep holding onto the phone like this. But on the iPhone 8 Plus, when it asks for your password, you actually have to go down and confirm with Touch ID. So it's kind of a mixed bag. For unlocking the phone, it's easy. You can do it with just one touch. And with the iPhone XS Max, you have to wait for it to unlock and then swipe up. So it really has to depend on your needs and what you like. I think I'm leaning towards Touch ID, but of course, everyone has their own opinion, and that's just mine. Going back to the iPhone XS Max here, one thing I noticed is the camera on this phone is so hard to leave. It's unbelievable. When Apple added Smart HDR to this phone, I've never seen a camera as good as this. I released a video yesterday talking about the new depth effect on the iPhone XS Max and how it's able to create this really realistic bokeh in the background and create the actual bokeh balls by actually, calculating the depth between different things in the background. It's really high tech. And the everything in the camera is so much better than the 8 Plus. I mean, it's better in low light because the sensor is actually 30% larger now. It can record 60 FPS on the front-facing camera now also. And something that's also underrated that Apple kind of just brushed to the side in the keynote is the fact that it can actually take stereo audio when you are recording video. So when you're recording video, let's say for example you're at the beach and you're holding your phone like this, because this is the only way you should record video. You shouldn't record it in vertical mode. And let's say your kid runs from one side of the frame to the other. When you're playing that back on your computer or something, or even on your phone, you'll actually hear the audio of that person running from this speaker transfer to this speaker. So stereo audio is really cool in video, and I was actually watching a few YouTube videos of that online, and it's a really cool effect. And higher-end cameras, of course, record stereo video, but that's a new thing for the iPhone, and it really does make videos that much more immersive. So the screens are kind of night and day on these devices. You can see here that the bodies are exactly the same size. If I flip them around here, you can see I have the gold colors in both phones. But the bodies are the exact same size, but the screens are that much different. You can see here 6.5 inches on the iPhone XS Max and 5.5 inches on the iPhone 8 Plus. You can see pretty much where the screen ends is pretty much where my regular icons are starting. So that extra real estate in the bottom gives you room for the entire dock on the iPhone XS Max. And that makes all the difference when you're watching video. Pretty much when you're doing anything day to day, you get more real estate. With that being said, the dock on the bottom of the iPhone 8 Plus is easier to reach with one hand. Now I'll tell you what I mean. Because this little chin area at the bottom here is taking up some screen real estate, these icons down here are easier to reach with your thumb if you do the pinky hold like a lot of people do. Now if I grab the iPhone XS Max and I do that same pinky hold, it's a lot farther down because on the iPhone 8 Plus, we have that little chin there. So something I noticed, but that is definitely a sacrifice I'm willing to have for this huge immersive screen. I mean, watching movies on this thing is unbelievable. I actually, for the first time ever, because I use my iPad for school, I kept my iPad in my backpack, and at night when I watch YouTube videos and Netflix, I'm only watching it on the XS Max because it's that good. And when I was watching videos on the 8 Plus after I ditched my XS Max for a day, it just wasn't the same experience, after having, the better stereo audio from the speakers on this and the immersive display. So the displays are night and day. Like I said, you're even getting more separation in between the icons. So you can see here we have 6 rows of icons on the 8 Plus and 6 rows on the XS Max, but you can actually see your wallpaper a lot better on the XS Max because the icons are the exact same size, but they can space them out a lot better, which is a lot better to look at. So if you have a nice wallpaper, you can actually see it a lot better on your iPhone XS Max. So just something to keep in mind. Another thing I did notice handling the phones day to day is the stainless steel on the iPhone XS Max versus the aluminum. The stainless steel is actually a lot more grippy. Now you may think that stainless steel is going to be slippery in the hand, but it's actually not. It's actually grippy because once the oils on your finger, whoop, don't drop it. Once the oils on your finger actually grip it, it is a very easy phone to hold. Whereas the aluminum, not the stainless steel, the aluminum on the iPhone 8 Plus is very slippery. Now, if you can get a good grip on this phone, it is not going to fall out of your hand, but it is just a little bit more slippery, than the grippiness of the stainless steel. The stainless steel almost has like a glass feeling. So when you're holding this phone, the stainless steel transitions to the glass in a very similar way. It almost feels kind of like the jet black iPhone 7 from way back in the day. So a little bit different feel in the hand, but you are going to have to pay if you want that stainless steel on the XS Max. One other small thing is IP67 on this guy, IP68 on this guy. Apple rates IP67 on the 8 Plus to 30 minutes, 1.5 meters, and they rate the iPhone XS Max to 30 minutes at 2.5 meters. So pretty much the same thing. The only difference that I could think of is when they talked about the waterproof rating for the 8 Plus and stuff, when they announced it on stage, they only talked about how it's water resistant, then they said that's it. With the iPhone XS introduction, they said how it's water resistant, and they tested it in beer, in water, in salt water, in chlorinated water. So I think they did a lot more testing on the XS. Maybe they did the same testing with the iPhone 8, but it is a little bit more waterproof. And if you happen to lose your phone in the ocean for half an hour, you might have a better chance of surviving on the XS Max. So just keep that in mind. Of course, one other thing, there is no notch on the iPhone 8 Plus, and you do get that native 16:9 resolution. So when you are watching YouTube videos, for example, on the iPhone XS, you are going to be getting that, you never know what you're going to get when you open up YouTube, but you are going to be getting those black bars on the side. You can pinch in to fill the entire screen, but something I did notice on the XS Max is actually when you pinch in, you actually lose a lot of content. And I was watching a few videos where they put some information in text on the video, and the text was actually on the top and bottom. And since I pinched in to fill the entire frame, I actually missed out on some of the information in that video. So keep that in mind. When you do get the iPhone 8 Plus, you are going to be getting native 16:9, so you don't need to pinch to fill the screen or anything. It is going to be just a perfect video watching experience. But if you are willing to sacrifice some of the content on your display, you can fill the entire display on the XS Max, but you are going to be seeing that notch inside the video. So like I said earlier in the video, price is a major factor when it comes to these two phones. So right now you can get an iPhone 8 Plus. I'm in Canada right now, so the iPhone 8 Plus still costs $950 for some stupid reason here when it's used. And I think you can get the iPhone 8 Plus in the US. If I have any US viewers watching this video, tell me in the comments below what it's going for used right now. But I think you can get an iPhone 8 Plus for like $600, and the iPhone XS Max is $1,100. So you're getting a fantastic phone here. And really, when I see the price at that big of a difference, this iPhone 8 Plus becomes really attractive. Now, if this phone was like $900, I would say definitely go for it. But since it's $1,100, you really have to think before you take your credit card out of your wallet for this decision. So yeah, guys, those are the biggest things that I saw after using the iPhone 8 Plus for one day. It is still a fantastic phone. I absolutely love Touch ID. I wish Apple could figure out a way to get Touch ID on the iPhone XS and XS Max, but maybe we might see an under-screen Touch ID, but it looks like Apple is going all for this facial recognition, so we might be losing hope for that. So yeah guys, if I missed anything comparing these two phones, anything major, you can tell me in the comments down below. But yeah, those were my biggest thoughts as I switched over to the iPhone 8 Plus for one day. I know someone's going to ask it in the comments, so no, I am not still using the iPhone 8 Plus. I have a different SIM card in here right now. That's why they both have service, but this is my main phone right now. I am using it and the battery life is fantastic. So I'm going to keep using this day to day because here in Canada I spent $1,600 on it. So I definitely want to get the full experience because that took a huge chunk out of my bank account. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, if I missed anything, tell me in the comments down below. My name is Mike with Apple Informed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.